When we leave today, actually, we're going to close it out, but at the end, we're going to do a survey. So I hope you will stick around. We'll finish a little early, do a little survey. It's very important if you can stick around to do that survey because we want to serve you better. We're going to be doing some AI courses and we want to know what you want to hear about. We are recording this. You're going to get the recording and the slides probably later today or early in the morning. I'm going to get ready to turn this over to my colleague, Nick. He's going to take us further. And thank you again, you guys. I'll be in the background if you have any questions.
Great. Thanks, Aretha. And hello, everybody. Welcome to today's new member orientation and Q&A. Thanks for taking some time out of your schedule. I think we'll run probably about 40 minutes today, hopefully no longer than that. We should be able to get everything taken care of during that period in time. My name is Nick Finn. I've worked at TechSoup for 10 years now. I've seen a lot of the nonprofit technology marketplace ebb and flow over the last decade. And part of my job here at TechSoup is to share really what our mission and offers are with nonprofits through the marketing department itself. And so today, you are going to learn more about exactly what it is TechSoup can do for your nonprofit, how we can benefit you. We've got some basic instructions up on the screen on how you can participate today using chat in the Q&A section. And if you need captions, you can also enable that for yourself. You've already met my wonderful colleague, Aretha Simons. As I said, I'm Nick Finn. You'll also be joined today by Kelly Garrett and Amari Magaha, who will be answering some questions in chat. And Kelly's going to speak a little bit later on about how TechSoup support works. Um, but let's start with the top question here. What is TechSoup exactly? Like you, we are many things actually, but first of all, we are also a 501c3 nonprofit organization. So we're a nonprofit. We work with more than 400,000 other nonprofits on technology issues. We support other nonprofits who are working with tech because we believe it can be a powerful tool, and it is a tool that civil society can use to build a more equitable planet. And we want to support that work. We do that by hosting one of the world's best known catalogs of technology product offers just for nonprofits. And it contains offers from lots of major brands, including Microsoft, Dell, Intuit, Adobe, and many more. We've been doing that catalog for well over 2 decades now. We also offer add-on technology services to help nonprofits manage the technology products that they have. Because one of the things we've learned over time for sure is that a particular technology product is only the beginning of the journey a lot of the time. And then, in fact, much of the struggle comes afterwards when it's time to adopt that tool fully, to train your staff to use it properly, to make sure it's implemented properly, that you've chosen the right licensing level, all these considerations that have to go into play on these technical products. And so our services are designed to help nonprofits as they manage those technologies and onboard them and use them. We also create courses, webinars, and training for nonprofit staff around technology topics. And like most of you, we also create grant-based programming. And in our specialty, of course, that is really around issues like digital resilience, online disinformation, and cybersecurity, which are huge topics for nonprofits, particularly when it comes to like managing their own websites and their internal electronic communications among staff. So, like most other nonprofits, TechSoup actually does lots of different things. We wear a lot of hats during the day, but all of it is with this core central purpose of helping nonprofits as they use technology because we know it can be such a powerful tool. How does it work? Step one is that your nonprofit must join TechSoup by creating an account and submitting a little bit of tax documentation to show us that you are indeed a legitimate 501c3 nonprofit in the United States. We do work globally outside the US, but this webinar today is pretty much focused on the US audience. There may be some folks from Canada here, in which case you would do much of this activity through TechSoup Canada. Um, but you create that account, join TechSoup with your nonprofit. You'll need to choose a membership level during this process. There's two at the moment called DIY and Quad. DIY costs no money to join TechSoup. Quad is $200 a year for your nonprofit and has a much deeper community and expertise area. Um, Step three, once TechSoup has validated your nonprofit, and that usually takes a day or two at the most, you can begin using our catalog of offers, services, and resources for nonprofits. So to recap it, we're account based, right? And your nonprofit, if you're a 501c3 in the US, can set up a TechSoup account, join TechSoup. You got to choose a membership level when you do that. DIY or Quad are the two membership levels. And once you've been approved and your nonprofit has been verified or validated, qualified, whatever word you want to use, then you're free to use the TechSoup catalog. So, how does your nonprofit join TechSoup? Well, pretty simply through the website, obviously, but if you're having a hard time seeing it, it's the top right-hand corner. You follow that join button, and that will take you through a several step process of inputting some information to get your nonprofit qualified and validated with TechSoup. The two membership levels that you'll be able to choose between, as I said, DIY and Quad, kind of have two different types of nonprofit in mind. The DIY membership is great for a nonprofit who knows exactly what they need from the catalog. They already understand what their technology plan is going to be specifically. They've got somebody who's doing that for them. And so they just want access to the catalog and maybe a little bit of the grant-funded content that TechSoup produces, in which case that DIY membership at no cost is for them. But for most nonprofits who actually are looking for more help, who want to understand the marketplace of offers and different solutions available to them, who'd like to maybe talk to some experts in nonprofit tech about what kind of product they might need to think about for a particular task or a particular problem. Um, to get more support for staff through training and online events. If you're looking for something more who can be an ally in helping your nonprofit with technology, then the Quad membership is really where you want to be. $200 a year for your nonprofit, but during that year, you're going to have access to a full scope of expertise and educational content, expert support on topics, and the capacity to interface with community like actual other nonprofits who may be working in your issue area, possibly struggling with similar technologies that you have, and you can learn from each other. And that's one of the great things about the nonprofit space is we are here to support each other and help each other learn, not just compete against each other out of a profit motive, right? So DIY or Quad are the two membership levels that you would need to choose between two as you would choose between as you set up your account, right? So let's move on now and talk about the product catalog that TechSoup maintains, which contains philanthropic offers intended for nonprofits from all sorts of different software vendors and hardware vendors and technology creators. So one of our first big partners over time is Microsoft, who we've been working with for decades now, and they were one of the very early companies to really encourage TechSoup to think big about how we could serve nonprofits globally. And we carry a lot of Microsoft products that are used by nonprofits. I'm going to actually now click through to the live site, and we can take a quick look at the Microsoft products available to nonprofits at the moment. Just take a second to pop through this CAPTCHA screen. So right at the top, you can see one of the offers we have is Microsoft Copilot for nonprofits. That's $306 a year for a license access to that. Office 365 Enterprise, really Microsoft Office 365 is kind of the hallmark of the modern productivity suite that nonprofits use for that most are getting through TechSoup. Excuse me. Um, and we have a long history of supporting both Microsoft 365 and Office 365. I know an awful lot about deploying that in nonprofit situations and the right questions to think about licensing. And if you are thinking about moving to one of these Microsoft platforms, TechSoup is absolutely the best choice you could make in terms of like who knows nonprofits best and how that licensing works. Beyond those Office and 365 subscriptions, we have a variety of other more specialized tools. There are developer tools. We've got some server stuff in here, including access to Azure, Microsoft Dynamics, CRM. Um, if you are running a computer lab, specialized nonprofit, some folks who do that, there are special offers from Microsoft available through TechSoup for those folks running computer labs. In any case, almost every nonprofit out there is going to have some kind of connection with Microsoft. And I think TechSoup is probably about the best place you could really go to make sure that you are using what you should be using at the level that you need to be using it. Going back now, the next brand that we get a lot of interest in from nonprofits is Adobe. We can take a quick look on the live site at what's on the Adobe offers these days. And primarily, it's Adobe Creative Cloud, which, as any designers or communications folks on the call know, is kind of like one of the big preeminent packages of design software when it comes to producing, everything from web pages to print and everything in between. That space is obviously a space that's moving very fast these days with AI and the capacity to be generative. But there's still very much a need to be able to just design your own things without getting pulled into just prompting AI to develop things for you. Creative Cloud still remains like an indispensable part of that. And of course, it does have AI capacities of its own, but that's the Adobe product that forms the center of the Adobe offers at TechSoup these days. Um, Moving on beyond Adobe, Intuit QuickBooks is another perennial favorite at TechSoup. It didn't take much to remind us in the pandemic why it's so important to have like a modern cloud-based financial tracking system for your nonprofit. Like we just can't afford to be using certainly paper and pencil and older spreadsheets and things like that. Like, we should really be adopting proper solutions here. QuickBooks Online Plus 1 year subscription for 5 users is like the most popular thing. And if your nonprofit is considering making a switch with your financial package, I would really encourage you to consider QuickBooks Online. Extremely popular. Um, Moving beyond Intuit QuickBooks, one thing that's been true over time is a lot of folks have thought of TechSoup as really being a software provider, but in fact, we have over the years developed quite, oh, sorry about that, awkwardly dragging around my screen. We have developed quite a good catalog of hardware offers for nonprofits as well. And taking a look there now at some of the things available to your nonprofit through TechSoup, basic things like mobile devices of all kinds, including hotspots. We've got some Apple phones in there, watches, tablets, um, plenty of new desktops and laptops available through our partnerships with like Dell and HP and Lenovo monitors as well. We do sometimes have Apple products in the catalog as well. We've got the Apple Mac Mini desktop at the moment. Um, Networking equipment, security cameras, lots of Cisco sensors. And one thing I do want to highlight also is that TechSoup has for a long time been a provider of access to refurbished computer technology, which is really fantastic from an environmental perspective. We were one of the leaders who originally said it was not a good sustainability practice to simply like trash a computer after 3 years because you thought it wasn't the latest, fastest thing out there, that plenty of these machines have life beyond that period. And, there's a business in refurbishing where we go back in and make sure that the computer is still functioning, that the, CPU and memory and RAM and all that are up to spec, and that the computer's wiped properly and that the drive is what it needs to be. And then these units are available to be sold as, a used unit, but saves you money, although you may not be getting like today's hottest top model. But for nonprofits on a budget, this is a fantastic way to save some money when you have to bring in new staff and you need new hardware to support them. In any case, I encourage you to take a look through the hardware drop down here under products on TechSoup.org. Right there, you can find the hardware section. So, um, going beyond the catalog itself, one of the things, as I said earlier, TechSoup has really understood over time is that we have multiple issues for nonprofits in tech, and it's not just acquiring tech products at an affordable price, that in fact, it is the need to manage those products, to train staff to use them, to onboard them appropriately, to keep them updated. Even just using them itself can present significant questions or issues. So we have an entire set of services that TechSoup has deployed over time um, to help support nonprofits who need to work with technology. So I want to turn now a little bit to what some of those most popular services are. We have a managed IT program at TechSoup, which we administer with our great partner Tech Impact. And that managed IT program is sort of a comprehensive package where Tech Impact will help you manage your technology stack and sort of be like your IT support for your nonprofit. Um, we have a help desk service, which is a very scaled back version of that that focuses on providing support for a single thing, for one item. Maybe it's a printer, who knows? But it's much more limited in scope. I've already mentioned Microsoft 365 is like an important part of what nonprofits get from Microsoft. We have support service for that. When you get Microsoft 365 through TechSoup, we're going to help you. Lots of nonprofits really struggle with how technology is indispensable in communications efforts. You think about building your website, maybe you do some email marketing or other digital marketing with advertisements, and AI is threaded into all of that stuff now. And if you need help figuring out what it is your nonprofit should be doing or actually executing on some of this, the websites, digital marketing, and AI services could be obviously a great fit for what you might want. If you are thinking of migrating to QuickBooks Online, we can help you bring an older version of QuickBooks up to QuickBooks Online spec and to integrate that data, bring it in. And there are a number of other services also available on the TechSoup website, which I'm not going to click through to now. Um, but the best thing would be to go and look at the services overview page underneath the top navigation at the top of the site, and you'll be able to search in there for all sorts of opportunities to get support for your nonprofit, whether around Google Ad grants, onboarding QuickBooks, if you want that long-term managed IT plan, all these technology services available to, TechSoup members who've gone through that qualification process. Now, um, the other great thing about TechSoup is that it's not just a website. In fact, there there are, as you see, live human beings. We have a wonderful staff of people who all care deeply about nonprofits, who work at a nonprofit themselves, and we wake up every day focused on the question of like, how are we going to help you do what you need to with technology? And part of what we do is that by providing customer service and support. And so Kelly Garrett from TechSoup Support, Associate Manager, is going to talk a little bit about how you can work with TechSoup and get the help that you need. So Kelly, take it away.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm going to be going over, as Nick said, how to navigate our website a little bit for some self-service and also how to get in contact with customer service using our live chat. And there is alternative options as well. So going to get into that right now. And feel free to keep pinging in your questions to the Q&A section, or some people have been using the webinar chat. Amari's watching those and helping me answer those as well. So we'll get to all of your questions here. Let's go to the next slide, please. Perfect. So first thing I always like to go over with folks is where you can find information about products, services, offers that you're interested in maybe requesting for your organization. All of the products and services, for the most part, there's exceptions here and there, are exclusively for your organization's use to support your mission and activities. They can't be given away to other nonprofits, to individuals. It can't be sold or used as a fundraising thing. These are owned by your organization, should be used by your organization. And if there is ever an exception to that policy, you will see that on these offer pages, along with other information that you're probably going to want to be aware of before you request the product. So when you find a product in our catalog, which Nick went over how to navigate there, and you saw the different offers that are out there, but once you see one that you're maybe interested in, you're going to want to click on that product or service and load the product page or offer page, as it's called. On this page, this is where you're going to see everything that you need to know or have links to go to more information to learn more about the offer. I always like to use the QuickBooks Online offer as an example since it's a subscription and it's one of our more popular products. So this is what the offer page currently looks like. You're going to see the offer listed in the very top. That's going to be the name of the product. And then underneath it, you're going to see in smaller print, what partner created, owns, and donated or discounted this offer. So it's Intuit is the company that does that. You're going to see what type of product it is under category. So if you see this, you're curious what other kind of like accounting software or cloud computing we have available. You can click on either of those and it will take you actually to a category page to show you all the accounting software we have, or it will take you to the cloud computing page to show you all the cloud computing software we have or related services. Under than that, platform is going to always show you, is this PC specific? Is it Windows specific? Since QuickBooks Online is an online cloud product, it's going to be available to all types of operating systems since it is housed on a cloud and not being downloaded and installed on a computer. You'll see the product ID, and you'll also see format showing online. Availability will be there. We do have things go out of stock. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily going away. It's just we do run out of keys, licenses, things like that our partners will provide to us. Sometimes they do have a limited amount of licenses, keys, etc. per fiscal year. So we may be out of stock for a little while. We may get restocked right away. It depends on the program and what our contracts and agreements are with them. Underneath there, you're going to see the orange button that says add to cart so long as you are logged in. If you're not logged in, you will see a note saying to log in. And you will see underneath it, it says what account it's for. So mine's test. If you represent multiple organizations, which you're welcome to add as many organizations to your member account. When you join as an individual, adding your individual member information. And then you can add as many organization accounts to that member account, and then you can choose which one you're choosing it for. Because again, these products should only be used by the organization that requested it. Different programs have different eligibility, budget restrictions, allotments, things like that. So you can always check there to see which organization you're requesting for, if you're a consultant or if you're, doing good out in the world and volunteering at a bunch of nonprofits, you can get them all registered with us and then place the request for them. Underneath there, you're going to see 3 tabs of information. Almost always there's going to be these 3 tabs. The description tab on the left and the rules, eligibility, and restriction tabs are usually always named that. It's the middle tab that you might see different names depending on what type of offer it is. This is a subscription product, so it's going to say subscription details. If it was an on-premises, aka desktop product, you might see something like system requirements or something like that there instead. So that can change slightly, but you want to make sure you do click through all of these tabs. A lot of questions that we get from members about how a product works, what's available, can it be, how do I renew it, are answered in these 3 tabs. And a lot of folks miss that there's 2 other tabs to click on. So it is something I really like to highlight to folks. Other than that, on this landing page, you will see an add to cart sometimes. These just show some services that are related to the product you're requesting. For example, Office is a little hard to install from Microsoft, so we always list that there's an Office installation service that you can add to your cart at the same time and check out with both. You are not required to add those products to the cart. They're just a nice addition that you might want to think about getting. I personally am not tech savvy. I need someone to help me install things. So I would personally want to get like a installation package maybe with my software that I get. Perfect. Next slide, please. And then this slide is just highlighting what I was talking about. That middle tab, for example, for this product is subscription details. A lot of times we get questions about, well, how often do I have to pay membership fee or the subscription fee? How often do I need to renew? Do I even need to renew? And you'll see that that kind of information is listed here. So you'll see like continuing service after 1 year. It gives a little brief description, and then it's going to connect you to our TechSoup support articles, which should answer questions in more depth, have screenshots, step-by-step instructions, that kind of thing, which I'm going to go over with you guys right now. Next slide, please. So when you're trying to find answers to your questions, there's two places you can go to access our TechSoup support. We do have the help option at the very top next to where you log in, or once you're logged in, you'll see that circle with an icon of a person. That shows that you're logged in. So either way, it's always going to be next to either the login button or that little I'm logged in icon. TechSoup support is listed there, so you can click on that to get to the landing page. We also have a chat bubble, the help bubble at the bottom. When you access this help bubble, it's going to connect you with an AI bot that you can type in questions, and it should help provide answers or link you to TechSoup support articles that should answer your questions. We are always improving upon this. It is something that we've added in the last couple years, and we are always looking to improve the AI experience there. But we do also have real people ready to go with assisting you with your customer service questions and support needs. So if you're just looking for articles, either one of these options work. The help bubble is where you can also get to the live chat, which I'll go over here in a second. Next slide, please. So once you get to the TechSoup support landing page by going to that help drop down, clicking TechSoup support, this is specifically the United States landing page. TechSoup.org is for United States based customers, territories, things like that. If you're based in another country, you do want to go up to the top right corner of that web page, and you'll see United States listed. You can click the drop down to pick the country you're in, but you do want to try to connect with the support resources and support team for your country or region. We, have access to different systems and things like that. So you just want to make sure that you're connecting with the right team, so you don't have to start one place, get moved to another, and all that around. So this one here, when you access it on TechSoup.org, is going to take you to U.S. specific information. You'll see product support, Microsoft support, general support. There's a search bar right there. There's promoted articles below. So that was where you can kind of get going with your different questions that you have. And I see I have a question. How do we get to the TechSoup home screen or the TechSoup support home screen? So you can type in support.techsoup.org, or if Nick, would you mind going back one slide? If you go to TechSoup.org, which is just our website, how you got to this webinar, how you joined us. If you click on that, you're going to want to go to that help tab at the top of the page. It should be on most of our pages on www.techsoup.org. You click on the help, you click on the TechSoup support, and that will take you to that landing page. Back to the next slide, please, Nick. And then this you'll see here is the support.techsoup.org. So this is where you can go. So either way, you can start on our regular website, navigate there, or you can just type in the support website, and that will get you going. Perfect. Next slide, please. So say you've looked at the product pages, or you've already gotten the thing that you were interested in, and now you have questions or you need help with it. And you need to talk to customer service, or you've got account questions or things along those lines. Customer service, we are here to help you. We have real people. It's not a chat AI bot that's working with you once you connect with us. So I do highly recommend, I put this in the webinar chat at the beginning with URLs. You'll also get a copy of the slide deck, as I mentioned, which these are hyperlinked. But if you go to TechSoup support, in the general section, you will see we have a contacting customer service. There's a couple articles. I always recommend going to our How Do I Contact TechSoup customer service, following the detailed step-by-step instructions on how to access our live chat and get in that chat waiting queue. And if you're having trouble seeing that help bubble Um, or getting the live chat to connect once you're in the help bubble, make sure you're going through all of the troubleshooting and unable to access TechSoup customer service live chat. We get hundreds of chats a day from our members, and the few that report issues, it's typically something going on with your browser, like it's blocking the pop-up window, your cookies haven't been accepted, outdated cookies are being imported, things along those lines. You do want to make sure you go through all of the troubleshooting listed in there because that almost always resolves the issue. And if we are having problems with our live chat, we do go in and make sure we put an alert on both of these articles saying live chat's not available, or we'll have, if we're closed that day, there will be a note in our hours of operations. So definitely want to make sure you're going through all of the instructions in these two articles to ensure you're getting into our live chat and connecting to a representative. Since we do find that these are all troubleshootings that have worked multiple times for many of our different members. Perfect. Next slide, please. So one thing that does come up is, where it is the help bubble. You should see that on www.techsoup.org, and you should also see it on support.techsoup.org. Once you open up that help bubble and the AI connects with you, there's a list of terms and phrases you can use in the articles I called out previously, but these are some I like to recommend. As long as you type in contact or agent or customer service, it will then give you the option to connect with representative. It's similar to probably other live chats that you've used, like on Amazon or other companies out there that use live chat for their support. So it's the same kind of concept. You just need to type in a term that indicates you're looking for talking to somebody, and then it'll get you going. It will ask you for your name, your email address, and description of the issue. Always best to give a first and last name, not just a generic name like your organization's name, and an email address that you have access to. You will get a transcript of your live chat conversation with the representative, and we also might reach back out if for follow-up information, or if we find out something, we might reach back out by email. So always a good idea to put a valid email address that you can have access, or whoever's going to need to work with us can have access to in case we need to follow up with anything. Next slide, please. So last but not least is that if you are having trouble connecting with live chat, we do have an alternative way of connecting with us. TechSoup does have the community forums available, which again, if you go to that help drop down that I pointed out where the TechSoup support is listed, the first option listed is forums. So as long as you can get to our website, click on forums, you'll go to our community forums page. From here, we do have a TechSoup program help. It's something I personally monitor every day, and Amari's in there helping out sometimes too. We have a couple other representatives that are in there keeping an eye on things. So if you ever are unable to connect with our live chat, more than welcome to log into your TechSoup account and then post in the program help forum. This is also a great place to come and check if there's any announcements going on. A lot of times if we have any trending issues, myself or someone will post a forums thread with instructions or links to instructions, and then we'll add it to our featured. So you'll see here, you'll see that the Microsoft Extended Security Updates, ESU, that's been a hot topic lately. So we've developed a whole how-to article that's connected there. We've got the how to connect with TechSoup customer service, like we've been talking about. When I took this screenshot, we had the Thanksgiving holiday closure coming up where we were closed for 2 days. So all of this is a great place to come in, connect with other members. A lot of folks are talking to each other about what worked for them, for their nonprofit. Great place to find maybe volunteer opportunities. But the program help is where we specifically keep an eye out and make sure that if you can't get connected with us normally, we can get you going within a couple business days from that post. You do need to have a TechSoup member account, so that's when you join as an individual. You do not need to add an organization. You do not need to be associated with an organization. Just as long as you have a login to TechSoup, you can log in here and post. And that should be the end of my presentation here. So if you guys have any further questions, definitely up for hanging out for a few minutes. Happy to go into, the Q&A, sometimes a little easier for us to answer stuff, but if you want to put in the chat too, that's fine. And again, go check out TechSoup support. The how to connect to our live chat should get you going if you think of something after we leave here and you're like, oh no, I wanted to ask that. We are around today. We are actively taking chats. Our live chat is definitely working. And I know, Aretha, you had something after this, so I'm going to let you take it from there.
Yeah, Nick, did you have any closing remarks?
Only to say thanks everybody for joining us today. I know Aretha's going to highlight in the chat the link to the survey. We'd like to ask if you would take a moment to fill that out. And yeah, I just want to say also that again, like you, we are a nonprofit with a specific social mission in mind. Like we really do think technology can be very powerful as a tool for your nonprofit. But we also care a lot about your nonprofit itself and it's the success that it's trying to engage in the community. Whatever your mission is, we're here to support it. So please, if you're not already TechSoup members, sign up for TechSoup. And if you are, start taking a look at some of those catalog offers and services offers and see how we can help you best.